So you're about to hear a story from my brother Bruce that is one of my favorites. And I got to tell you, I really would like to spoil it for you now and tell you the story myself, but just doesn't seem like the right thing to do. He does it so much better than I do. And at the end of his story, I've got a little addition to add. So here's Bruce. Okay, so one of my favorite stories is about the library book.
When I was working at the prison, and I only worked there for about a year or so, we had an inmate. I worked the psych ward at the prison, and one of the inmates was a guy who's infamous, named Gary Gilmore. He was, I can't remember which author wrote a book about him. Gary was an incredible artist, just incredible, but he was also a cold-blooded killer. But he and I had lots of, I enjoy art, and we had lots of discussions about art. And I told him that Salvador Dali was one of my favorite artists, and he said, yeah, I like him too. And I said, I'll tell you what, I'll check out a book from the State Library on Dali and let you look at it. And so I did, and he did, and then I took the book back home and forgot to take it back to the library for some reason. And then I stopped working there, and for a short time worked in Roseburg as a bouncer in a bar until I went back to working in the state hospital eventually. While I was working one evening, a state policeman came in and said, I'm looking for Bruce Adams. I said, that's me. And he said, you're going to have to come with me down to headquarters. And I said, yeah, what for? And he said, well, I'm almost embarrassed to tell you this, but you've got an overdue library book. What? And he said, yeah, I don't know who wanted it, but apparently you checked out a book years ago, and they want that book back. And I'd lost it, I was laughing. I'm like, yeah, okay. And so I ended up having to pay a pretty hefty overdue library book fine, and replace the book. And later it turned, I wondered, how did they track me down or anything? Turned out our other brother, your older brother, one of your older brothers, and my brother Brian, they came to our house, or where I used to live, and he ratted me out to where I lived, or to where I was working. Turned me in. I ain't going to jail for you, Bruce. I'll tell him where that book is.
So you just heard my brother Bruce tell you that brother Brian turned him in. Well, Brian's not the only brother that has turned in my brother Bruce. You see, my brother Brady had worked at a bank in Grants Pass, and they had these bronze otters that they made for a park, and they got stolen. And about that time, my brother Bruce was doing some artwork in Grants Pass, and my brother Brady decided to get the more bronze otters and put them back in the park. So they did, and they got stolen. So Brady had them made a third time and put trackers in it and all that stuff. And he went around town putting out wanted posters and got businesses to donate $20,000 to find out who did this. So me, knowing Bruce had been down there, but he hadn't actually been there when the otters were taken, I went straight to my brother Brady and said, it was Bruce. He did it. Give me the $20,000. I kind of figured Bruce could use a vacation, year or two in jail. It'd be a nice vacation for him. Turned out Brady just wouldn't buy it because Bruce wasn't anywhere near. But just goes to show, Brian's not the only brother that will turn one of us in. Me too. Okay, we'll be back tomorrow with more on my brother Bruce. Thanks for watching. Bye.
So, thanks to my brothers, I've had some run-ins with the law here and there.